Across the Midwest, northern pike use the cover of weed edges to ambush passing prey. Let's join Fishhead's Jon Thelen for a high-percentage crankbait trolling system that's tailor-made for targeting pike tucked tight to the deep weed line.
There's one. Look at that. Right when we come around that corner. Oh yeah, it feels like a pretty good one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to slow this boat way down. It's one of the neat things about running the electric trolling motors. It's so easy to just quick slow your boat down when you get hit. We're all pike fishing today and we're trolling for pike. And pike are just a lot of fun for a couple of reasons. One, that one's not a giant, but he'd be a great eater if we were gonna keep a couple today. But one of the reasons I enjoy pike fishing so much is they're a predictable fish. They're the kind of fish that you can count on being aggressive. When you get a fish like this one right here, he sees that crankbait come by and there's no stopping him. I mean, if you pull this thing by him, I can pretty well guarantee you day in and day out that fish is gonna hit it. He's aggressive. I mean, he's working on one thing in the summer months like this. He's working on growing up. He's eating all day long. There's a few tips and tricks to catching these fish all day long though too, and we're gonna go through some of them today, and I'm gonna show you some pretty neat things that are gonna help you catch more pike next time you get out. We'll let this guy go. We're gonna get some better ones as the day goes on, but it's a great way to start right there. There he goes. There he is right there. Look at that. Oh yeah. Right when we did that speed change, all I did there is I just sped it up. I cranked it way up and then I actually stopped the motor. A lot of times what'll happen is these fish, it just takes that one little change will trigger them. And that's what happened. This pike, he was just triggered by that one speed change. Let's slow this thing way down, make sure we get this fish in. And the other thing we did too, is I did change colors. And that might have made a difference. That's a good fish right there. That's a good fish anywhere you go fishing. Look at that, he got himself unhooked for me right when I scooped him up. Man, these are pretty fish too. Look at that thing. That is just a beautifully colored fish. Look at that. That's a great pike right there. I don't care where you go fishing. These things fight pound for pound as well as any fish out there, and they're really fun trolling like this because when you're trolling along, these fish, when they hit it, I mean, they buckle a rod. They'll knock your socks off if you're hanging on to a rod. And I'll tell you what, there's times it'll make you feel like you're gonna lose that rod. I'm gonna throw that guy back. That's a great fish right there. I'm gonna throw him back, and then what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna show you the lures that we're using. Ooh, there he goes. Man, he'd take off like a bullet. Let me show you the lures we're using though, because this is a really great lure for the situation we're in. This is the Lindy Rally fish. Now here's what's so neat about this lure. It gives you a long profile. So these pike love it, but walleyes love this thing too. It was originally designed for walleyes, but it's a great, great pike lure. The other neat thing about this lure is it'll dive 26 feet. So today I'm only needing to get down 15 feet, actually about 12 feet over 15 feet of water. So I'm just letting out about 35 feet of line. And then here's the other cool thing, rattles. I'm trying to pull these fish out of these weeds, and those rattles are gonna help do it. So it's really got everything you need to catch any game fish you're chasing. I don't care if it's walleyes, pike, whatever it may be, these things catch them. I mean, it's just a great lure day in and day out, no matter what the species is. One of the things I try to do with pike, if I can get away with it, is I try to use a crankbait that's gonna dive really fast. And here's why. If I was using a crankbait that, let's say its max dive depth was 12 feet, and I was gonna have to put a lot of line out. Now all of a sudden when I put that lot of line out and I'm trying to paint this weed line, it can get kind of complicated, and I'm going to hang up in weeds a lot more often. You'll notice throughout the day that I'm pretty consistently reeling in, checking. I'll see a crank tick a weed and I'll reel in and check it. Well, when you only got 35, 40 feet of line out, it's pretty easy to do. So that's why I use that deeper diving crankbait, because I know that when I'm painting this line going along that weed edge, that crankbait is right in line behind me, and it's a lot easier to check every time I think I might have tangled it up in a weed. Ooh, there, look at that one. Oh boy, that guy smoked it. That feels like a pretty good one. You know, you go through all these different sizes of fish, and you think you're gonna know exactly what feels like a big fish or a small fish, but you know what? It's not always that easy to tell when you're trolling, because you gotta remember you're moving. I'm gonna go ahead and stop that boat almost. Slow this thing way down. Yeah, some really good pike. You know what? The sun came out and it's changed things a little bit. Look at that, he's still on the back hook. I got him. Whew. Let me tell you, that was one of those times where it was hard to reach out and get this guy. Look at that, he spit that hook. He's on the back hook, and you know, as the day's gone on here, the sun's come out now. And what's happening, I think, is these fish are just starting to fire up. I mean, this guy, he came up and just smashed it. I'm gonna just lift him out of the net here. Let's see. I'm gonna grab that glove. And we're gonna do it this way. It's a really nice pike, especially for a small lake like what we're fishing here. Look at that fish right there. That's a great pike right there. Man, you can come out and do this. It's really a pretty simple thing to do. Get out, pull some crankbaits around, pick some cranks that you can keep really close to the boat. If you can keep them close to the boat, you can stay tight on those weed lines, and that's where these pike live. And I'll tell you what, fish like that one right there, they're just waiting for a crank to come by.